Hey guys, Ghastly, as I promised, I was going to put a video out there showing the team, the unconventional team I used to go become a legend in last season's Go Battle League. I'm excited to present this video because I put a lot of months into building this team up, so excited to share with you guys. I decided the best way to do it is I made a quick PowerPoint, could try to run through quickly, then get to the actual videos of at least 3 of the sets that eventually got me there. So with that, let me get into it. All right, so this team, I called eventually the Glass Tank team. And it's all about how I was a veteran level player. And at the end of last season, I got really sort of, I won't say frustrated, but I really wanted to try something different. And I noticed some things about the meta in Open Master League that I thought I could find a way to sort of exploit or try something a little different that I think might be successful. So that's kind of where I got this idea from. So this is going to be all about how a veteran level player using what I got and a sort of odd idea or new inventive idea made it to legend. So first and foremost, Melmetal, Dialga, Groudon, a lot of ways they are sort of the core of the meta for Open Master League. There's lots of other things out there that are just as viable and great, but people focus on how to beat those top 3 Pokemon. And what happened going into Season 7 is that XL games became much more available. People became, really started investing in things that are not, legendary or mythical Pokemon. So it had a big rise in things like Mamoswine and Metagross, Excadrill, Gyarados. Then a couple new legends came along like Landorus. And so then what I noticed in doing all that is that all those Pokemon there, they all have one glaring kind of weakness, which is that they're weak to move counter and just fighting moves in general. Metagross is neutral, but there are other ways you can attack Metagross. Decide, I go for that. Why try to exploit the fighting weakness that is in the Master League meta? And the go-to people's usually Machamp or Conkeldurr, but I really want to try something different that people wouldn't really expect. So they get the actual team I built. And I will preface this by saying I spent the entirety, I say probably 75 to 80% of last season in the Go Battle League just building this team. So some of the rules of what I did was I played in Great League. I completely skipped Ultra League. I think I played 3 Ultra League battles just to finish off set I had started during the transition between Great League and Ultra League. I finished those battles, but that was all of it. I didn't play any other Ultra Leagues because I was preparing for this, mostly by trying to buff up my my HAXORUS, because that was my sort of ace in the hole, sort of trump card essentially. So this team I built, HAXORUS has counter, which is one of the best fast moves there is. Night Slash is great for Mewtwo and just generally a good, at least neutral move. And Dragon Claw, like a stab, is fast. Both those charge moves are spammy, and Night Slash has the chance to get the attack buff. And then of course I have my perfect Shatter Snorlax. That's sort of been my claim to fame, if that kind of thing exists. And Pokemon Go is I was the first person in the world to max a Shadow Snorlax, and then Togekiss was in the back because that seemed to be the best the best anchor to cover up the weaknesses for dragons and fighters that HAXORUS and Snorlax can't really deal with as well. So goes the actual PvP or PvP poke analysis. B for coverage, despite an A for bulk, despite HAXORUS being very glassy. That should tell you how incredibly bulky and tanky as Snorlax and Togekiss are. So still got A for bulk. B is good safety. Shadow Snorlax is the best safe switch that there is in the entire game. So it makes sense. And consistency, Always gonna get a lot of good damage in with these 3 Pokemon. Quickly through this. My theory was a lot of go-to meta in Open Master League is weak to fighting moves. If not weak to fighting, then usually weak to either dragon moves or dark moves. Lone exception to that is Togekiss. You can read through the whole strategy I did, but essentially I put HAXORUS up front as a class can, kind of like people do with Hunter Gengar. And people don't expect it. So people make mistakes, they feel pressure, anxiety, and it wrecks a lot of teams if they don't know how to deal with it right away. So I have the Snorlax in the back, along with Togekiss to back them up. So it's pretty good solid team as PV Poke said. When we do opening mass strategy, essentially what I end up doing, and you'll see this in the videos, is that the only things that I would bail on right away with leading HAXORUS is you have to bail on Togekiss leads, Dragonite leads, or Gyarados using Dragon type fast. Everything else I at least stayed in for 1 move, including Dialga. Giratina O was a little bit of a sort of chess match in a way, how you deal with that. But I also know that Giratina O is completely walled by Snorlax because nobody uses Dragon Pulse on Giratina, so I never worried about it because I know nobody competitively would ever use it. Some of the strategies I utilized, my opponent swapped out, used common sense. With a couple of obvious sort of special scenarios. Dialga I'll get to in a second. That one I would immediately switch to Togekiss if my opponent switches to Dialga. Switching Giratina O, I would go Snorlax in and just farm up. With Mewtwo, you know, you go either way. You just gotta watch out for a Focus Blast from Mewtwo. When I lose the lead and I have to save swap immediately, I have to put Snorlax in. Worst case scenario is that my opponent sends out I'm a champ. I then have to go straight for the Earthquake and hope that they don't count correctly or that they're guessing I'm bluffing or whatnot. I have some videos of people who don't guess correctly. But if they do shield that move, they shield the Earthquake and then farm up, then the match is pretty much over. And I would surrender because I mean, there's no point in yeah, you gotta admit defeat when it's there. No team is perfect. That's one of the glaring weaknesses of this team. But as far as some special scenarios I came across, and I realized Dialga is the center core for the meta of Master League. But one of the things that people don't realize about Dialga is that it can be farmed down by a super high level Togekiss. So my opponent switches to Dialga. If I can switch in my Togekiss within a couple turns, it'll be able to charm it down before it can get to a second Iron Head. So usually what I do is I would take the first Iron Head, just accept it, and I will farm it down with charms. And then that way I don't use a single shield. I'll still win that matchup, and then I have a whole lot of energy to blow right away, which usually happens when my opponent leaves Melmetal. They then switch to Dialga, I switch to Togekiss. My Togekiss farms it down. Then they come back with Melmetal usually. Then I fire the flamethrower, and no matter what, that scenario ends up being net positive for me. So, in case Dialga, always switch Togekiss, farm it down right away. Don't use any shields unless they get off that second Iron Head. Mewtwo is troublesome for this team. It takes the same amount of fast moves and energy to get to its Side Strike as HAXORUS does to Night Slash and Dragon Claw, and Mewtwo's always going to win CMP. So it was a little hard to deal with that sometimes. I eventually found some ways around it. A couple different strategies I tried. Usually tried the trade shields. I just always had to watch out for Mewtwo's Focus Blast. So a lot of times I would switch in Snorlax, hoping to lick it down before it can get off another move. But also it's possible to use Togekiss against it. It's just that Mewtwo is much faster than Dialga, so it doesn't work quite the same way as Togekiss does against Dialga. At least be aware of Groudon. Anyone in this team can take down Groudon. It can certainly not take on Togekiss one-on-one. They'll just spam fire punches, so I don't worry about that. Kyogre is not a threat to HAXORUS because it's a mono dragon type, so it resists the water moves. Snorlax will beat Kyogre with straight body slams usually, but Kyogre does beat Togekiss, so I have to always watch out for that. We're using this team. Giratina O, if it's not the lead, a lot of times it was in the back. So if as you'll see these in some of the videos, the matches, if I play it well enough, and hold the Snorlax back, and when I expect the other teams to have a Giratina, I can throw my Snorlax out in the end, and they usually will surrender right then because they know that there's something they can do. Giratina Ultra though is actually interesting because it's most people, if they have the XL candy, will put it towards their origin Giratina, but a Giratina Altered is actually more deadly in a lot of ways to this team because it uses dragon moves versus the ghost moves. Much less common, but came across a couple of them during my time coming up through the ranks. Big stress this team, Landorus, there's no way around it. That was the hardest thing to deal with. It's got a great moveset. I just made a team effort to try to get rid of it. Melmetal, the idea of this team was actually to have HAXORUS deal with the Melmetal. So a lot of times I would save HAXORUS to take on Melmetal later on. However, if my opponent saves the Melmetal as a back anchor, that was hard to overcome sometimes if I didn't sort of see it coming. Dragonite is all-purpose powerhouse. Obviously, can't hold anything up to Togekiss, but always have to be aware of that. But anything on the team can take it out. Just it's all about energy and shield management. But you can take out Dragonite if I need to with any of these Pokemon. Togekiss was the biggest threat in a lot of ways because nothing directly countered it as easily. Snorlax will beat it one-on-one. But HAXORUS is useless against Togekiss. Usually I try to chip away at it if they leave a Togekiss, and then try my best to get at least off one body slam against it, and then if I need to, my Togekiss will clean it up later on if needed. That was usually the strategy against that. Other notes of how the team worked. A lot of streamers, a lot of high-level players jumped on this Excadrill Mamoswine XL grind to level 50. And I counted on that. And in fact, that's part of why this team was so successful in Open Master League was that I saw that everybody and their mother more or less was trying to power up Excadrill and Mamoswine. So I knew what could easily take those things down. A HAXORUS with counter could, or Machamp. But HAXORUS gave me a lot of good wide variety of moves to use. So that was a great thing. You just got to predict. That's how you utilize these kind of oddball lineups. Is you have to kind of foresee where's the meta going, what are people going to be doing and reacting. And one of my biggest hypotheses or prophecies for the season was that I was going to see a lot of Excadrills and Mamoswines, and I did, and that's a big reason why this team worked. So with that, I'm actually going to get to the videos now for you guys, and I'll have a little bit of commentary as we go along. So sit back and enjoy. I sped them up a little bit for you all. So just enjoy. All right, guys, so let's get to some of the matches. I sped them up a little bit for you guys, but I'll provide commentary as I go. And let's get to it. So as you guys see, I'm starting a little below expert. This is, I think there are 3 different sets I show for you guys here. So what you'll see is that first match I'm leading against Mamoswine, great lead for me. Just gonna go with it. I did a grand total of, I believe it was 7 sets. 7 sets between when it was the last couple of weeks of the last season of Go Battle League, where it was just Open Master, Open Ultra League, and Open Great League. That was the time to pounce on this. But I was over this course of the season building up to it. They throw Dragonite in, quick, easy swap for me to focus. I know he's going to throw Hurricane. Fine, take it. Rather than have the ability to throw a Flamethrower right away. I unfortunately miss. Can't get in the flamethrower. It's okay. I can come right back in with HAXORUS. Still have the advantage here. Get the boost again. Doing Landorus, it's risky for me. Thankfully, it's actually the worst version of the two for my team to deal with. Fortunately, I can't win that battle to first the charge move, so gets the earth power on me. I do have some built up energy though on HAXORUS, so that was helpful. Because I knew that he would win the battle to first charge move. And a couple counters, and I escaped that matchup. I escaped that one. But a win's a win. So 1-0. The veteran facing expert here as a veteran. The league guillotine O, you'll see here what my strategy was with overcharging, and when I usually would go Night Slash first, then Dragon Claw second. So usually when my opponent would just take the Night Slash. Actually, and definitely for sure, if I got the boost, they usually go for Shadow Ball. In this case, I go for a Dragon Claw second, and then what I'm going to do here is after the second move, when kind of Shock takes it, I almost always switch out. In this case, if I switch out the Snorlax fast enough in that scenario, I'll win. He'll be able to lick it down. Going here, still has both their shields, and I go straight for the Earthquake. And this attack I know is not going to KO me no matter what it is, so accept it. So they switching Gyarados. This is also the last Pokemon they have left. So my goal here was really just to get them to use a shield. And I switched to Togekiss, and then GG, they surrender. Strategy pays off. One of the biggest strategies was always holding back on revealing what my third Pokemon was, because it's all oftentimes that worked really well with the Snorlax, because if people really can't guess very well if you're holding back the Snorlax, people can't guess what the third Pokemon is. So it actually worked fairly well. So this time they leave it to Giratina. They switch to Dialga. This time actually go for the Dragonfall and then switch in Togekiss. Now there's some weird usual go battle like lag issues here. It sucks because this is actually one of the examples of why and how you would use Togekiss to farm down Dialga. And had not been for the lag, I actually would have not had to use this shield. But at this point, I have to. And then they throw Giratina in. Might as well, throw an Ancient Power. It's not going to do any harm at this point. If they threw in Melmetal or whatever, then that's the time I would I would have used Flamethrower. Here, let the clock go down a little bit, and then I know I go straight in with Snorlax, and he's just going to farm this thing down. No reason to ever shield a Giratina Origins move on Snorlax because no one's running Dragon Balls. Even so, I'd survive it anyway. It's just the Mammoth, which is very convenient for me because I know I can get off my move, then I can just switch in and just go hog against Mammoth and just counter, nice slash, just keep going. And I know I will eventually win that matchup. And it's worth using the shield here because Snorlax doesn't need the shield against Giratina, so that's pretty much over. And then on upward to match number 3, I believe. Maybe 4. I'm rewatching these videos as we go along with you guys. So Yagali, one of the interesting things to deal with. I had a rather interesting strategy for these, which is that I usually went straight for the Dragon Claw, took all the damage from the Dragon Breath, and went for Dragon Claw, and then I would bail on the matchup. Then switch to Kyogre, which is an interesting pick, I think. Then they waterfall me down. And I have a decision to make because I don't really want to send Togekiss out there against Kyogre. It's not really a winning matchup for me. However, also I know that HAXORUS can take on Kyogre. So he switches out back to his Dialga. And then I try to switch out, but he gets a charge move off. It's not worth blocking it for me. Might as well just go with the Togekiss and have a shield if I need it. And send him Mewtwo, which is why they sent in Kyogre earlier, because they wouldn't sending Mewtwo against Snorlax would not have been a great idea. Take the first Side Strike, because I know I can survive 1. Then they did an interesting move there where they swapped out. Because I didn't pull the trigger, it pays off. Because I then have the charge move to win that matchup. Another Dialga lead. Gonna pull off the same exact move. Straight up to Dragon Claw, hit it and leave. In this case, since they got enough energy, I figure I should shield it, even though I figured probably is Iron Head. Then switch into Mewtwo, which is not an ideal. I wouldn't think for them. But that right there tells me that I probably should expect that there's a Giratina origin in the back. That's what that move would tell me. I should expect there's a Giratina back there. Mr. Snorlax can take one side strike. The clock run down. I think I'll just move a little bit. Position Dialga for whatever reason. And counter down Mewtwo. And there's the Groudon. So I was wrong that wasn't Giratina Origin, but either way, it works out fine for me because Groudon can't take on Togekiss and win that matchup. So it's just sort of a no-brainer for me. I know I just get as much damage in as I could. No reason to block his charge move. And Togekiss in for the Charm Down. So it's a good set, not perfect, but it's 5-0. It's 5-0. It's 5-0. So take it, and this is actually the first time I hit expert. So take a screenshot, celebrate that. And at this point, it's the next morning, so I'm just about 2,900 at this point. In the 7 sets that led to Veteran to Legend, my combined record was, I believe, 32-3. Or it might be 33-2. Either way, I was just blazing through. Facing Metagross lead here in the second set that I'm showing you guys. I unfortunately didn't record all 7 of the sets that got me to Legend, but I think the 5 of them. I chose these 3. But all the sets were 4-1 or 5-0. So this one I got a boost, so counter down. Hit whatever comes out next. Mamoswine, which is great for me. I mean, Mamoswine's going to win this because he has much bigger health advantage than I do in this scenario. But he took out almost 2 entire Pokemon by himself. So it's fine to that's a sort of win-win for me. So here I use my second shield because I figured that regardless of what they send out, between Togekiss and Snorlax, I can probably take it on. They surrender, so I'm guessing he probably had Giratina Origin in the back, most likely. Maybe Mewtwo. And during the second battle, facing their expert. Giratina Origin lead. Go up against. Immediately switch to Dragonite, so I immediately switch to Togekiss. And of course, I know that I have Snorlax in the back that can take on Giratina all by itself. So realistically, I could have actually shielded this and probably been fine. Decided to let it go, figuring they'll probably send something metal in. Exactly what they do. I don't get the flamethrower in on time, but that's okay because now I know exactly what they have left. And this is could be easy pickings for me because I have both my shields. HAXORUS, he's gonna take Metagross 1-on-1, and Snorlax doesn't need any shields to take on Giratina. So I already know I won this match. They just don't know it yet. So they switch in the Giratina. I send the Snorlax. They see what I've known for the last 45 seconds, and they surrender. And they can do in that situation. That's part of why this team works really well. As a Dialga lead, not my favorite of leads, obviously, but not something I can manage and deal with. A Shielder, which is even better for me because that means I really have an advantage there. Sinnoh Ho-Oh, which is an interesting choice. I faced all of 2 Ho-Ohs in all the time that I was played Master League last season. The first one completely destroyed my team, actually. This one not so much. But it is an interesting Pokemon to use, for sure. It's for something we're experimenting with myself some of the time. But it's an interesting choice of things to use. I had to use both shields to try to farm up a little bit. They pulled the right move there, swap out to Dialga to get a Fire and Iron Head. However, they also know that I have Togekiss waiting for Dialga. Fortunately, though, I didn't do enough damage ahead of time. That I'm going to have to absorb this Iron Head. And send in Mewtwo. And what's interesting here is I decide I'm not sure I'm going to get to Flamethrower in time. I probably would have. I wasn't sure at the time. For me, it was worth going for that and maybe getting a boost. Say Side Strike. They switch out back into Hoa, which I think was a mistake on their part, because that gave me enough energy to actually go for the Night Slash and win. So take it, not going to be mean to my opponent in that situation. These matches are all going to be pretty close. So, yeah, they took the risk. It didn't work out for them, but that I'm not gonna be mean to them about it, because it's I make plenty of stupid mistakes too. Just happy for that win. Mammoth Run lead, just what I wanted. Exegol is actually a better thing to lead against, but I'll be happy to take out any lead Mammoth Runs I find. I get the boost here, so absolutely shield and as many counters as I can possibly get in. I will farm down and have enough energy left over. So I'm gonna just go for it at this point. Try to take it out. I know Mewtwo's gonna eventually like win this battle, so it's fine. I took out almost entire 2 Pokemon with HAXORUS. Then switch into Snorlax. He switches in Giratina. I'm assuming that was a blind switch by them, and it just was a bad choice. This was a bad choice by them, but cool. I'll take the win. On to the next one. Here I face my first legend as an expert. So his lead. That's one of the hardest ones to deal with. So switch to Snorlax. They switch in Mewtwo, which is a very Interesting choice. Which that should tell me something about what I'm facing. I make the questionable decision to no shield the first side strike. And go body slam. And I'm gonna shield this and then go for lick down, which seemed like the best move at the time. And this now Togekiss again. My goal here for the team is, as you know, is I just gotta take a chunk out of Togekiss. All I gotta do is take a chunk out. Wish I could have gone off the second body slam. I don't. In this case, I have to put in my Togekiss. Switching Giratina, which is weak to Togekiss. So if I drew a couple charms, but then I switch back out to HAXORUS. Because HAXORUS can do nothing to Togekiss. Whereas, HAXORUS can do some lethal damage to Giratina, so I need to save my Togekiss for theirs. Force them to use one of their shields. Then my Togekiss goes in. I figure this has got to be a Shadow Ball. They don't have time to get off 2 moves in a row, so that made sense. And now it's going to be a Charm Off. I know I'm going to get to an Ancient Power first, which they're going to have to shield. At this point, it's just hope that I survive their Ancient Power and that I have more health afterwards, and they don't get a boost. So I have a little more health, and they don't get the boost, so it comes down to the wire. But a couple HP in a dream, get the win. And that's set number 2, 5-0. So now going into the third set, and 23 points away from Legend. So while we know how this is going to end, it's nevertheless nerve-wracking to watch. In the moment I was doing it, but also watching it back now. Metal lead. One of the things I built this team to deal with. I figured this is probably superpower. I decided to take it, save the shield for later because then they're going to jump out. And they go to Gyarados with Dragon moves, so that is a for Togekissing, which I also know is fine because Togekiss is weak to Metal, so that's where it made sense for me just to do that. At this point, the strategy against Gyarados is just keep charming, use the shield when I have to, which I know I'm going to need to do. So I use my shield because I know I didn't have a lot of energy built up. Because then Melmetal comes right back out, and so does my Flamethrower. Blocks it. Switch in HAXORUS. Now I've got lots of energy and a lot of counters to go. I decided to shield this just because I got a gut feeling. Especially with Giratina, and then I actually know that I'm probably going to win this matchup. As long as I don't get too stuck with the Snorlax. So, that HAXORUS die. Here, all you do is put Snorlax in and just let him farm up so that as soon as Melmetal comes back, it'll be game over. If I get that point, my opponent says GG, it surrenders because they know I'm just going to farm up and take down Melmetal when it gets back in. That's one match of the last set. So now that we are in near the legend yellow, I'm gonna be facing legend, so hard. Mewtwo leads are hard for this team because Mewtwo it's gonna tie in speed with HAXORUS, but always win CMP. So I get the boost here, which makes me want to stay in the matchup a little bit longer than I otherwise would have. Because it means I can force shield pressure on them. Except that double shield here to protect the fact that I have all that that I have the boost. At this point, they're gonna have to shield this one. Which they do. Make the smart move, and I switch over to Snorlax in time to lick it down before it can get off another side strike. This one I have no shields though, so I have to sort of be cautious how I handle this. They're a Melmetal. We there's superpower, then put out to Mammothswine. Smart move by them. Gotta respect that. It's a good move. They shield the Earthquake though, which I was afraid they would do. So at this point, I'm in a rough position because I have my HAXORUS. It's got some energy, but Togekiss is completely useless to me at this point. So do charge root. I do the nice hash. I get the boost, but I come up like one counter too short. So Mammothswine it's going to take him out, and I have to pray that I can get to the flamethrower in time. Against Melmetal, I'm not sure I can. But, gotta try. Could be close. One charm, and he got off the second one. Now, the shame of that, this was a legend level player, so you can't win them all. They played that very well. I made the mistake of double shielding HAXORUS and not letting it go when I should have. So 1-1 going into match number 3 of this set. Facing their legend, as I showed at this yellow range. It's a lead Rhyperior. Not what I would expected to been up against, but I won't complain. It's just as weak to the counters as everything else is. I figure this is probably a Surf, but I'd rather just take the shield and counter it down. Overcharge, so still some energy left. Switching Dialga. And go for my Dragon Claw here. Switching Snorlax. Because if I put in the Togekiss and they then switch to Melmetal, then I'm sort of screwed. So I go Snorlax in that matchup. They then put in Kyogre, which is net positive for me. So I won't complain. I also know that will leave me with Togekiss to take care of Dialga, which I know Togekiss can do. And at this point, I know that as long as they're going to not get off 2 Iron Heads somehow, that I had to smash one Iron Head, and it's not gonna have time to get off the second one. So yes, 2-1 for the set. I need to win 4 though. Mathematically, maybe I still make it if I go 3-2. I don't think so though. I think I need to go. I think I need to go 4-1. Smash number 4, another legend, as the way it should be. Mammoth Swine lead, perfect. So I know head to head I'm going to win this matchup. So just gotta keep going, countering, overcharge a little bit just to have the extra. Fast moving if I need to beat something like a Mewtwo, get the boost, which helps me to be able to counter it down. Win Giratina, so go straight for the Dragon Claw since I'm already boosted at this point. And then I put in Snorlax, sending Garchomp. And so at this point, I know the match is actually pretty much over because I've got Togekiss in the back. So Togekiss will handle both Giratina and Garchomp. I just have to make sure I save my shield just in case the Giratina goes for a Shadow Ball. So let the attack go. They try to bait Sand Tomb, but they don't sort of realize that I don't really care because I'm happy to let Snorlax go. So then they're left with the Giratina. No reason to shield this move. And then it's Togekiss in, and that's match over. So 3-1. All comes down to this last matchup. Win it, then I come legend. I lose, then I live to the next round, the next set. All right, so going up against a Shadow Snorlax. They even switched to Metagross, which is just as good for my team, so I don't complain about that. So I'm going to go straight ahead and just keep going. Get the boost even better. So have to shield because I know with the boost I can actually pretty much just counter it down if I really wanted to. They shield it. At this point, like I said, I'm boosted, and I know they got the Shadow Snorlax, so might as well shield. Try farm down. They make a smart move in that they switch out to the champ, but at that point, it's so much energy and so much power that and then switching to Togekiss and they surrender. So it means 4-1 set means some hidden legend. You guys know it's about to come. Funny that guy I faced right there to actually hit legend on. I actually faced him later on, a couple sets later, like the next day, and he actually waltzed me the next day because he remembers my team. Because not a lot of people lead with a HAXORUS, so he actually remembered my team and actually beat me the next time I faced him. On the office, I'm excited. It's my first time to become a legend. I can't believe it. So excited. So thank you guys for watching that video.
Hey guys, so I decided I want to end this video for just some comments, get ahead of some of the comments people are going to have and questions and whatnot. first and foremost, I built this team because I wanted to sort of show that you can succeed, um, with some odd strategies, unconventional things. I can freely admit that you am by no means like an amazing Go Battle League player. I've been a veteran for several seasons now. My highest like rating for the season was like 27, 23, I think. Never even made it to expert prior to this past season. So a major part of what made the difference this season is that I planned out how can I get to this point, and I went all in on this strategy because I felt that if I was going to try and do something bold, season 8 was going to be my last shot to do it. With where XL Candy was sort of getting more common for a lot of things, I knew this was sort of my shot. Just kind of just go for it. So that meant doing things this past season that I hadn't always been done before that I really wanted to. So things like I slow rolled my way up the ranks. So I hit rank 19. Then I have a pretty good winning percentage, and therefore I'd have a high starting rating. So I was doing like 2 sets a day in the evening. Then I would go for a run with the HAXORUS XL Candy. I think my ELO actually started at 23, like 40, something like that. Is when I actually hit that point. I actually thought it was going to be higher than that based on my win percentage, but didn't take long to get to where I ended up. Also, I mean, I played only Great League for the most part. The only Ultra League battles were I had 3 to finish the set that I had started when there was a switchover. And I did a couple days worth of practicing in the actual Master League before I went back and waited for Great League to start again. But mostly what really made the difference and why I was successful doing this strategy, beyond the fact that it was just a really good, unique strategy that no one else has tried before, was that I put hours and hours of practice into this on PB Poke. It's how I learned how to deal with my win conditions. I knew how to handle Melmetal and Dialga and Groudon and Mewtwo and Giratina. I knew how to handle all of them because I put in hours just practicing against the computer on PvP Poke. That's what you have to do. So when you kind of see this video and like, oh my God, how could you go from veteran to legend in like 7 sets? On only 3 of them in this video. It's gonna be a follow-up video where I put all the matches I recorded essentially. And that won't be silenced. You'll have to hear my annoying voice and all that stuff. So you guys will look forward to that coming up at some point soon too. You guys have to remember, like I spent months and months preparing for this run because season 7 was coming to a close. I saw there was this big weakness in Master League in the meta, and it became a bigger hole with the rise of a few XL Pokemon, particularly Excadrill, Melmetal, Mamoswine, things that people will power up more easily than other things. It sort of became a now or never time for me. I felt that once the season that we finished was over, the strategy might not be viable anymore. As it turned out, soon after I sort of got the idea, Niantic suddenly comes out with this. Oh, we're going to guarantee XL candies for any legend or mythical that you catch, which is a good policy. Like, I sort of guess what was probably coming. So if you sort of break down sort of why of how I was able to accomplish this feat, you eventually realize that a big part of it was that I looked at what the current status was of in Pokemon Go, and I made an educated guess of where it was going to go, what was going to be things I had to watch for, and it paid off. So I know there could be people who are going to watch this video say, well, nobody has an answer for level 49 or 50 HAXORUS. No one's going to have an answer for a HAXORUS that high. My response to that would be, well, yeah, duh. That's kind of the point. It's unheard of strategy that no one does unexpected, and it worked in your perfection because no one knew how to respond to that because it's not something that people do. So therefore, having this whole season leading up to when this video is recorded to get my HAXORUS as high up as I could. Hashed a bunch of Axu, sorry. So I increased the amount of miles I was running every week. I consciously farmed for AR tasks like reward Poffins to give HAXORUS. I traded away some shinies for high level Axu that I could then grind into candy, hoping for XL candy. I traded some of mine away for things that probably weren't necessarily worth it, but they were long distance, that gave me guaranteed XL candies, things like that. It was exhausting. And I've already done a video, and a whole Reddit post about what took the max out the Snorlax. And HAXORUS was tougher, even though it needed 20% less XL candies. So it was tougher because I didn't have raids. So I had raids and grunts like I did from the Snorlax, and a lot harder to find people who want to trade Axu anyway. But with that said, I'll put the link to that Reddit post in the description of this video. Feel free to check it out. Another videos out where I show my walls and shells of all of my half marathon medals. If anyone's using like a trolling mood, you may want to check that out before you write some nasty comments on it. With that said, I don't expect people to try and replicate this team. How many people out there really have another perfect Shadow Snorlax? Well, going to this is a fun team to use. Really the point of showcasing this team is want to encourage other people to kind of try new different things, but also you really got to practice. As far as is this team future proof? Who knows? Right at the end of the season, Yvettle, came out, and that's sort of a mixed bag. It loses really hard to showcase, obviously, because it's dark typing. But the prospect of it having using focus blast and the resistance to lick makes it a tough one for Snorlax. Sylveon is not going to be a major factor. Most likely the biggest factor is probably going to be the dragons. They switch to using Dragon Tail, which also makes Lugia a much more better option. So I'm going to try the team again once Master League comes back around. Not as confident it'll work as well, but I'll see it. We'll try it again. I'll do another video if it works again. For the shot. So with that said, my words to you guys: go out there, try new fun things. It's a game. Have fun with it, and I will see you guys later.